You're not tired. Your brain is addicted. Addicted to cheap dopamine, your phone, porn, endless scrolling, small pleasures repeated every single day, and without even noticing, they start changing you. Your focus disappears. Your discipline gets weaker. Your mind becomes trapped in impulses. But the worst part isn't even that. The worst part is feeling like you're losing control of your own life. But here's the truth. You didn't click on this video by accident. A part of you still wants to take back control. Because deep down, you know you're living in the same hell I once lived in. And if you stay until the end of this video, I'm going to show you 5 steps that can actually destroy this addiction at its root. 1. Remove the triggers before you fight the urge. Most people wait until the urge appears. That's already too late. Lust rarely appears randomly. It's usually triggered. Certain images, certain apps, certain times of day. Being alone with a phone late at night. Your brain starts connecting these situations with dopamine. And over time, the pattern becomes automatic. So the first step is simple. Remove the triggers before the urge begins. Remove or start blocking and filtering out all the content that feeds those impulses. Delete the apps that constantly show sexualized content. Start blocking or negatively filtering pages, profiles, and keywords that lead you in that direction. Stop scrolling late at night. Change the environment where the habit usually happens. You're not weak for avoiding temptation. You're smart enough to control your environment. And when the trigger disappears, the urge becomes much weaker. 2. Replace the urge. When an urge appears, trying to suppress it is extremely difficult because your brain has already switched into automatic mode. But there is something far more effective. Replace the urge. When the feeling hits, don't sit there fighting it. Interrupt the pattern immediately. Change your physical state. Wash your face with cold water. Do 20 push-ups. Step outside and walk for a few minutes. It may sound simple, but it works for a powerful reason. An urge needs stillness and attention to grow. When you change your body's state, you break the mental loop. The brain loses focus on the fantasy, and within minutes, the intensity of the urge starts to fade. You didn't win through force. You won by changing the pattern. 3. Stop feeding the dopamine loop. Lust is rarely just about attraction. Most of the time, it's about dopamine addiction. Your brain learns that certain content gives a fast reward. Instant stimulation, instant excitement. Over time, the brain starts craving that spike, not because you need it, but because it became a habit of reward. And here's the problem. The more artificial stimulation you consume, the weaker your natural control becomes. Your brain gets used to easy pleasure. That's why breaking lust requires something deeper. Lowering your dependence on cheap dopamine. Reduce endless scrolling. Reduce constant stimulation. Spend more time doing things that require effort, training, reading, building something meaningful. At first, your brain will resist, but slowly your reward system starts resetting. And when that happens, urges lose a lot of their power. 4. Fill the void with purpose. Here's something most people don't realize. Lust grows strongest when life feels empty. When there's no challenge, no mission, no direction. The mind looks for stimulation, and lust becomes the easiest escape. But when someone is deeply focused on building something, their energy moves somewhere else, into work, into goals, into growth. The same mental energy that fuels lust can also fuel discipline and creation. This is why many people notice something interesting. When they're busy improving their life, urges become far less frequent, not because they forced them away, but because their mind is occupied with something bigger. Purpose leaves less space for destructive habits. 5. Change your identity. The final step is deeper than discipline. It's identity. Most men try to quit lust while still seeing themselves as someone who is controlled by it. So every day becomes a fight. They say, "I'm trying to stop," but real change doesn't happen when you try harder. It happens when you see yourself differently. You stop asking, "How do I resist this?" And you start asking, "Is this the kind of man I want to be?" Because every action sends a message to your mind. Every time you give in, you reinforce weakness. But every time you walk away, you reinforce something else. Control, standards, self-respect. And slowly, your identity begins to shift. You're no longer a man fighting temptation. You become a man who simply doesn't live under it anymore. And when that happens, the battle becomes much easier. Lust isn't defeated by a single moment of discipline. It's defeated by changing the systems that feed it. Remove the triggers, starve the fantasies, break the dopamine loop, build a life with purpose, and strengthen the identity of a disciplined man. Do this consistently, and the urges that once felt impossible to control begin to lose their grip on your mind. If this message resonated with you, leave a like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes one idea can completely change the direction of a life.